Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe they told me that I would never make it? Now we smiling in their faces, smiling in their faces. All right, y'all. Let's talk about it. This is exactly what's wrong with this goddamn NBA.
We've heard things in the past that Chris Paul has been difficult to play with. This coming out about him challenging people within coaching staff, players, and front office. It's not liked, but he's done it before. Speaking from experience, being on the team with him.
He always do that sneaky
When you don't mind being that guy, the guy that will tell it how it is, a lot of people don't be liking to hear it, especially when you're already at 5 and 16 or some like that, right?
That there.
Want his back kicked in. Turn around to the front, I'll kick you in your chest. But it ain't about your feelings. Put your feelings in your mother pocket.
Don't hold me accountable if you can't do it no more.
Yeah.
I was okay.
No, I think he abuses his power.
What I'm saying is, if you was who you were when you were younger, and you was the All-NBA player, and you was the top 5 or top 1 point guard or whatever, that was your resume.
Yeah.
You 40 years old, this your last year, shut the up.
Exactly.
Sit down there, enjoy.
Yeah,
Don't
bro,
come in here and tell me
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear about nothing you had going on 57 years ago. Who you are as Chris Paul, we know what the demand. We don't need that right here. Right? That's not our personalities. Right. Don't talk to us like that. And we lose chill, relax, understand this your last year. Go out there, wave, do your thing, because that's what you deserve. Fighting with me every day? Nah.
Action to Chris Paul and what your side of things were with Chris.
Don't have a side. You know, I don't like it. You know, it just didn't work out like we thought it would. You know, and like I said, I don't like it for CP. You know, but it just wasn't a good fit. You know, and we understood that. And so, like I said, it was an organization. You know, they made the choice. You know, and so moving forward, you know, we got to see what we do.
Do you not understand by having a 6-16 record that you're underachieving? Now, God forbid a guy calls somebody out that's old and past his prime. God forbid. I mean, we're underachieving, and this is my last season. Let's do something. Let's get the locker room involved. Let's get camaraderie. Let's figure out the reason why we're 6-16 with Zubac and all these good players on this team, good role players, good bench. Let's figure out the reason why we're messing up. You know what? They don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear the reason why. We don't want to hear the truth. You know what we want to hear? We want to hear soft lies. Just pats on the back. The NBA has a vet problem. It's been having a vet problem for probably since the late 2010s. I don't know what it is, but they don't want to have vets around. They want to have a new locker room. They don't want old guys bringing in the old stuff. I don't know why. I think teams, especially like the Memphis Grizzlies, could have benefited from having a Zebo on the team or Rasheed Wallace and OG to tell Ja Morant, listen, you gonna mess this up, you gonna F this up. We need you to stay in your lane. We need you not to do that. Don't hang out with that dude. Listen, I used to have a dude around the neighborhood who act just like that. Guess what happened to him? Listen, don't do this, don't do that. Like, we need veteran presence in this locker rooms. You understand, man, the Clippers aren't like a young team. So I get it. But in the case of many other teams in the NBA, they need structure. They need people to teach you how to be pros. I used to see videos, tons of videos of professional basketball players being rookies and saying they learned professionalism from their vets. They taught them what to do, how to train, how to wake up. There's certain things you need. Now, of course, in the case of the Clippers, they don't need that. But what Rashad McCants was saying, I can't disagree with.
When you don't mind being that guy, the guy that will tell it how it is, a lot of people don't be liking to hear it, especially when you're already at 5 and 16 or some like that, right?
That there.
Want his back kicked in. Turn around to the front, I'll kick you in your chest. But it ain't about your feelings. Put your feelings in your mother pocket.
What is the problem with a 40-year-old Chris Paul saying something to a team to get them where they need to be? Now, I get it. The messenger is everything. I get it. You pass your prime. You ain't contributing. You ain't a starter. You ain't that kind of guy right now. But we not going to respect what you've done all these years because what? You're not actively an all-star. You're not actively an all-NBA player. We shouldn't listen to you. Matter of fact, we don't want you on the team because you telling the truth and you're trying to get the team involved so you guys can actually win games, and that's an issue, that's exactly what's wrong with the NBA. A bunch of spoiled dudes who really don't want to hear the truth. You know, it's funny. This makes me realize that Chris Paul and Kobe would have been the best teammates. Y'all see that video of Kobe Bryant? He says it's going to get real uncomfortable when I'm around.
You know, Kobe got a deep voice, so, like, you hear it.
That's when I was like, all right, Kobe, you talking too much. You can't guard me. Guard me.
When I hear Nick, you can't guard me. Like, other than you can't guard me.
Oh, I can't even get better practicing with y'all. I said nobody in the world could guard me, so I was going at him. And then Kobe said a line like, lucky I'm not from out of this world.
So I'm like, man, what's going on? Mitch Kupchak was our GM at the time, and Kobe leaving the court.
We're dealing with a time in the NBA where the league is allowing offense to just spiral out of control, right? You have a guy on his last leg playing his last season for the franchise he made irrelevant, where no other franchise player really made the Clippers relevant aside from Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, of course. Like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George underachieve for sure. And I'm not saying that Chris Paul, did anything better than them, but he made them relevant. He brought something, a brand of basketball that was exciting. I think he was the first person to bring them to the conference finals. And then we get to this place in 2025 where y'all could have played out the season like this, but nah, get them out of here. Listen, man, I don't understand why the NBA doesn't care about veterans. I don't know what it is. I can't sit here and make up something. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why they don't care to have veteran presentships, but I do know that the old NBA I used to watch, there was grown men on these teams, man. These dudes had family and kids, man. They 34, 36, 37 years old. They're men. They have families. They can teach you how to be a pro. You're going to learn from their mistakes. And, in the case of this Chris Paul situation, knowing that's his last year, knowing that his highlights of his career are mostly with New Orleans and the Clippers, of course, being with the Clippers was probably in his prime, and the Pelicans or Hornets or whatever you want to call it, Oklahoma City, whatever. That was like beginning, but the middle of his prime was with the Clippers. And it's upsetting to see how much the NBA and certain teams don't like people being held accountable, because you realize that's the reason why teams don't win, because there's uncomfortable conversations that need to be had. But that's all I got to say. The NBA, man, is really effing up with this. The Clippers organization, you can just tell it's a crappy organization. And Steve Ballmer, even though he built an arena and he did all these great things for the city, as far as for his team, I should say, then look what's going on, man. Nothing's really happening. You're paying James Harden, you're paying Kawhi Leonard. One can't stay healthy, the other guy can't stay in shape, and doesn't show up when the playoffs come. It's just like, what are we really doing? And then you bring in a guy like Bradley Beal, who obviously is on a contract he's making, I don't know, X amount of dollars, $50 million, whatever. I think he got bought out, whatever. I don't know the situation. But he's supposed to be an all-NBA superstar type of guy. Maybe not all-NBA, but up there as far as, averaging at least 30 points a game and can put the ball in the basket. The kid probably do nothing on the defensive end, but still, you're a caliber brand name player like Bradley Beal. Maybe he's just overhyped, probably is, but you got a guy like that, and that talent like Zubac, a talent like Kawhi, Harden, Chris Dunn, Chris Paul, all these guys, man, there's no reason why you guys should be 6-16. So that's really what I got to say. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. And of course, man, hit the bell so you can get notified when I make a new video. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Peace.